Wow, we got a lot of people in here today. That's pretty crazy. Okay, thank you everyone who's just joining us right now. Really excited for our next workshop with Covalent. Joined here by the incredible team, Leilani and Leibing. I'll let them take a moment to introduce themselves better than I probably can. But we will be taking questions at the end. Filter your questions into the Zoom chat below, and one of the two of them will probably moderate them throughout the course of the session. So without further ado, it's all you.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Leilani. I'm in product marketing at Covalent. Leibing, off to you.
Hi, guys. I'm in Death Row at
There's
Covalent.
two of us that go by Lay, so you might have noticed
Go.
that. Yeah, thanks for joining our workshop. Wow, there's a lot of people here, so that's nice. I'll get started. So today's workshop is Intro to Web3, but we're going to cover a couple different topics, give you a little bit of an intro, and also just go into Covalent a little bit more in depth and the hackathon resources. Oops, sorry. There we go. Okay, great. Let's get started. So here's just a little bit of a breakdown of how things are going to go today. And Luke mentioned we're going to take questions probably towards the end, but since there's two of us, if you have stuff that you want to post in the chat, we'll probably be checking that intermittently too, whoever's not presenting. So a little bit about Web3 data trends and challenges, the Covalent API, so you get familiar with the product itself and how to use it. And then, sorry, my slides are slow. Oopsie. There we go. How to access on-chain data. And then we'll go over some resources like our knowledge base and a couple demos that you can see for inspiration. So I know this is an interesting hackathon, Road to Web3. You're primarily focused on deploying apps on Polygon. And for some people, maybe this is the first hackathon too. So if that's the case, welcome. That's super cool. We're really big on hackathons at Covalent because our company actually started at one 4 years ago. So they're really near and dear to us, and it's super exciting to be around all of the different projects. And maybe some of you are newer to Web3 in general. So just to kind of set the scene on where we stand in the broader ecosystem here. First of all, crypto adoption, as we can see in the past couple of years, definitely on the upswing. 2020 and 2021 were both big. And now, of course, we're seeing the markets go red again and everything kind of decreasing, but that's the nature of it here. But you can't take away the recognition from really big brands getting into NFTs, like a lot of sporting brands or organizations, and Visa and PayPal, like doing their due diligence with crypto, even governments adopting cryptocurrencies as legitimate currencies. And recently India recognizing the tax. So that's good and bad, but anyway. But if you can see on the right, just in the typical kind of trends of adoption of emerging technologies, we're still pretty early. So I know this graph kind of just goes to 2020 and a lot's happened since then. But in terms of the way that adoption typically goes, we still haven't crossed the chasm, as people like to say. And there's a couple reasons for that, and primarily a lot of infrastructure limitations. So building in this space is super critical, and that's why it's exciting to be here. So at Covalent, we try to think about the future 5 to 10 years from now, basically constantly, and what that's kind of going to look like in terms of the blockchain ecosystem. So we definitely believe in a multi-chain future, and that's kind of what we've gambled on with everything that we built. Basically applications being across different chains and data that's interoperable. And I'll go a little bit further into that once we get into the API, but we see like millions of pieces of information on blockchains, not just related to finance too, although crypto is definitely the driving force of a lot of the traffic. And we see a lot of single use and multi-use blockchains, tons of different applications, things that we don't really necessarily know about yet. And that comes with a lot more users on chain too. So that's kind of why it's so critical to be building that infrastructure and also building it in a way that's scalable. So the problem that we're kind of focused on, it's sort of two problems. One is that data interoperability. There we go.
Always trips me up, that word.
I know, that's such a hard word. But yeah, it's a major blocker if everybody's kind of building in silos. And as you can already tell, if you're familiar with DeFi and you have to, use bridges and send tokens across different chains to different applications, and you don't have all your information in one place. And the process is still quite clunky, depending on the experience and what you're trying to do. And part of that is about basically the read aspect of blockchain. So what a lot of people are working on is write scalability. So how to write to the blockchain in a way that's scalable and people understand. But not a lot of people are focused on how to extract blockchain data in a way that's scalable and verifiable, and it decreases the mess of the data on the blockchain, which if you have any experience with or running your own nodes, you know that can be quite challenging as well as expensive and kind of messy. So that's what our main focus is at Covalent and kind of where we fit in the crypto stack. So our product itself is a unified API. Basically, what that means is we index all of the data on multiple blockchains, and then you can query all of the data with one unified API. And if you change one parameter, which is the chain ID parameter, you can basically transport your applications or whatever you build across the different chains that we support. So once we go to the resources, you can see the different blockchains that we host, and you can see how to do that as well. Our documentation has kind of instructions on how to get started. But it's queryable from the cloud. It's a no-code API, so Analysts can use it, which is a big kind of emerging group. And then you can, enable multi-chain in minutes, basically. So that's the main advantage, especially for hackathons. I know you will be focused on Polygon, but if you want to see Polygon contextualize against other chains, or if you want to, show it in any sort of framework like that, then I would definitely kind of make use of the multi-chain aspect there. So just kind of what I touched on briefly. This is how the crypto stack looks, just for people that might be newer to Web3 as well, or maybe you get all of this, but it's still a helpful refresher. But you have blockchains on the bottom here, or not the bottom, but I guess, that's the foundation. And then in terms of extracting any data from blockchains, to be able to use it, you have to run nodes. Basically, if Covalent isn't here, then it's on the individual building these applications to either run your own nodes or find node providers. And that can basically just be a little bit costly, expensive, complicated. If you've ever done it, that's just an added step that kind of gets in the way of you building the actual applications. And then it's a lot of maintenance and kind of engineering that's required as your projects grow. So where Covalent fits is a data layer, basically. So we take care of the two steps preceding that. We fully index all of the blockchains and provide it in this data layer, which is then queryable with the API. So basically, you're just using the one API to build any application that you want to, and you can check out a whole bunch of different use cases to get started, or just play around with it and see what you want to build there. The last step is users. So that's how it all comes together, but basically supporting a little bit more adoption in the space, and especially making this whole onboarding process easier for people that are new to Web3 too. So these are kind of our two main demographics. So developers, obviously it's a developer product, but also analysts, just because it's fast and no code, and you can actually try the API live in our docs site. So we're seeing a little bit more like journalists and analysts wanting access to quick and reliable data that they can use in any sort of report that they're building, and dashboards and things of that sort. So we actually have an analyst mode now in our docs, which again, we'll go through. And basically you can get all of the responses from the API in a spreadsheet format, and then you can download those as well. So it's just a little bit about our ecosystem, our developers and projects, and some of the people building with us. So typically people will use us for NFT metadata, for instance, or like DEX support or anything multi-chain typically. And you can see more of these on our website, which I'll put some links in the chat later, but that's covalenthq.com. And then, yeah, I'm going to pass it off to Leibing to talk a little bit about the specific bounties that we're going to be offering for this hackathon, and then go through some of those resources with you as well.
Thank you, Lei.
Well,
hi, everyone. Now, let me take you through some of the bounties. I've got some great questions. Maybe we'll just get to the questions in a bit. But let's talk about the exciting bounties that we have for this Polygon hackathon. Love Polygon, by the way. And I think you guys signed up for a really great one. Give me a second. Share my screen. Okay, so we have prepared two bounties for y'all. The first one is a $2,000 prize pool. To the top 3 projects that build upon what we have here, a Covalent NFT collection dashboard. So what this dashboard looks like is this. It is built with a couple of our NFT API endpoints. And as you can see, it provides certain information about a particular collection. This is a collection view. And this particular one is Polygon Punks, right? We see everything related to the address, the symbol, the 24-hour volume, right? The 24-hour sold count. So for this one, there was only one transaction in the last 24 hours. The price floor for the last around 7 days. I think you can change this, and you're able to see the price floor for up to 1 year, as well as all time, and the preview of the top 5. So this is built using React, and we will be sharing the project repo, definitely. And if you click on global view, you'll get to this page, which is built using our brand new API market cap, NFT market cap, endpoint. And it is an endpoint that returns every single collection, NFT collection, within a particular chain across different marketplaces, across OpenSea, Rarible, etc. So it is one single endpoint. And if you specify the chain ID, which we currently support for 5, and those 5 are, 2 of them are not here, but Ethereum, Polygon, and Avalanche. These are every single NFT collection on Polygon, right? Arranged according to the market cap. So the first one, the biggest one right now, is Z-Horse. I'm not really sure what that is, but we have Crypto Unicorn, we've got Chicken Derby, and all of these have very informative fields that you can use to build your app. Market cap data, 24-hour volume, average price, transaction, wallets. And if you click on any one of these, you get to the individual page, right? So the challenge for you with regards to this dashboard is that it is a very simple React app. It has 2 pages that returns you certain data. All of these are powered by the Covalent API, but in particular, the Get NFT Market Global View endpoint, as well as Get NFT External Metadata for Contract endpoint. You will be able to see how they're used when you dive into the code. But for this challenge, we want to have you work on a couple more features for this site. I think it's quite a fun challenge. For instance, what if you can create and deploy NFT collections on Polygon or any other chain via the site itself? So let's say you link it up to a smart contract, right? You can have a button here that says upload an image to mint an NFT at whichever marketplace. That would be pretty cool. So basically giving this functionality to interact with the smart contract using the front end UI that we've already built. Because most of the time, what we realize is that during hackathons, you can build an entirely new project, or you can just work on 2 to 3 challenging features. And if you succeed at that, you learn a lot in the process, right? So again, features like interacting with smart contracts on third-party marketplaces. You can list or sell NFT. You can integrate it with your wallet. Like for instance, NFT wallet or whichever MetaMask wallet that you have, and you can display your own collection, NFT collection on a new page after you log in. So basically providing that MetaMask or whichever wallet integration, right? Right now, it is just a non-user authenticated site. It is, there's no user login whatsoever. What if you can create like a Web3 login that we see in so many sites? That's pretty cool as well. And right now, the analytics is, as you can see, just what it is, right? It shows price floor information. It shows average volume, the number of transactions. It doesn't really show the number of transactions that this collection has, but I know the data point is available in the JSON response. These are just the pure raw responses that you see for each of these collections. What if, for better, more sophisticated analytics, you want to build your own calculations, calculated fields, right? That will give rise to better insights. The 30-day average of the price floor, say, right? So all these can be built, and that's the other thing you can elaborate upon. So yeah, take a look at the bounty information from the ETHGlobal site. And in particular, I think the ETHGlobal site's bounty information is more condensed. If you click into the Notion page, you'll be able to come to this site, which will give you more background about the bounty. That is the first bounty. Moving on, we have the second bounty, bounty 2, where you just need to plug our Covalent API, any kind of use, into whichever Web3 projects that you want to build. And you stand to win a chance to win in this prize pool. So we are looking for any meaningful usage of the API. So let's say you want to build an NFT gallery. You use the API to get all the NFTs from Ethereum chain or Polygon chain, and you display them on the page. That is a meaningful use of the API. If you're familiar with log events or topic hashes, you want to display how many people perform this function or make this function call with this particular smart contract, right? You use this API endpoint, and then you get the right information that you need, and you plug it into your site and display it. That's a meaningful use of the API. You can build all sorts of things with the Covalent API. These are not just the API points that we provide. We have a lot of them. Class A endpoints are endpoints that provide information across all chains, right? So for instance, token balances. Every single chain will have token balances. Every single chain will have transactions. Every single chain would have, for instance, log events. Class B endpoints are protocol-specific endpoints that provide data specific to particular protocols. That means we extract the data from the smart contracts, interactions, and then we package it up nicely so that you can call them and display them without needing to do further cleaning. You probably need to do a bit of further cleaning, but without needing to do massive cleaning. So yeah, second bounty, build anything you want that includes our endpoints, and you'll be able to classify for this prize pool. In the context of this hackathon, we want to have special priority to any NFT project, as well as if you use the event-specific endpoints, that will give you a better chance. But as long as you just use any other endpoint, you do stand a good chance to win in this prize pool. So that is all I have on the bounty side, and I'll probably take you through some of the handy hackathon resources that you can refer to. Of course, the Covalent documentation and the API reference. What we mean here is that the API reference is the thing that you'll use most often to get the shape of the endpoint. This is the API reference. We call it API reference on our end. So for instance, what this API looks like, you can click on try it live to have a sample response. So for instance, I get token balances for address. This is a sample response for this sample address that I've input here. You can put any other address here to kind of see what kind of response you get for that address. So this feature on this side allows you to have a quick and dirty overview of the response object. Historical portfolio value over time. You want to build an analytics dashboard to show what token holdings a particular wallet has been holding over time. You can use this one. Yeah, so just take a look at the endpoints here and see what fits into your project use case. So that is the API reference. The API documentation is this page which gives you some support with regards to what kind of developer tools you can use. Primer, which is a more advanced version of querying the string, the URL that you can use, and as well as the list of supported networks. You can find it here as well, but you can also find the list of supported networks here. These are the list of supported networks, but not all endpoints are supported for each of those networks. For instance, the new ones such as NFTGlobal market cap, I believe that one is only supported across these couple of chains for now, because we've yet to index the rest. And Polygon. All right, so all the best with your builds.
Yeah, there's a couple questions coming in already, and then I guess we can take more now, but Leibing, maybe you have a better answer for one here. Does Covalent have an API for using in cross-chain NFT transfer bridging? I'm not exactly sure what that would entail.
Cross-chain NFT transfer bridging. So we do not have one for that specific endpoint. I can see how that's a really useful one. However, if you have the smart contract address, you can probably query all the log events. That means all interactions with that smart contract using the get log events by contract address. So what you need to do here is input the contract address here, and input, of course, the chain ID, and it will return you all the log events of that contract address. From there, you need to do some further filtering to get the particular bridge interaction that you have. Hope that answers your question.
And then I'm just posting the API key sign up just so you see what it looks like. You just need your name and your email, so it's not more complicated than that. But then someone also asked about an SDK as well. Oh, and I'm getting.
Let me see. Okay, so there's this question, which is pretty good, from Aman. So is Covalent like a data broker for blockchain, and how is that different from ETHScan? So we are, I wouldn't call ourselves data broker. We are a data aggregator. We package them into API endpoints for you to use in building your web app, Web3 web app. So it is the same data source, right? All the data lives on chain. That's the beauty of blockchain, right? But data on blockchain can be a little bit hard to access, especially if you need them in aggregated forms. If you need them across multiple chains without needing to write one subgraph or a different kind of architecture for each of the chains that you want to query, right? So that's kind of what we do. We try to make life a bit simpler for developers. Underlying data is all the same. Does the API enable to run a function on a contract in the past? So for our API, we are a read-only API. You have to, for contract interaction, you have to build the right feature yourself. Is it an archive node running to get the data, or all the data is off-chain? So what we do is that, if I'm not wrong, and I need my engineering team to clarify this, but we do have an archive node running to get the data. So the data is constantly, gotten from on-chain sources from all the different networks that we index, and then all these data is served live. Oh yeah, Lei has already mentioned that. Oh, quite a few questions Lei has already mentioned, so
Feel free to touch back on them though too. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we have our software development kit on the docs anymore.
yeah, I don't think we have that.
No, we were trialing it before and I think we pulled it off because there were complications. But as we go forward, so this year, one of the major milestones for us in terms of things we're going to do in tandem with decentralizing is releasing Class C endpoints. So basically opening up to the community to build their own specific endpoints as well. But that's going to come later on because we have kind of infrastructure to work on, and we're in the first phase currently of actually decentralizing our network.
Yep. To answer Thomas's question, log events work only for emitted events, right? Yes. Unfortunately, I think that is how a lot of the data is being stored on blockchains. It's quite a strange way to think about it if you're coming from the SQL background or any other data storage kind of system, but that's how data is stored on chain, and you just need to get the emitted log events and do the necessary filtering. Yeah, can be a bit tricky, but there's this very good video I've seen by ETHGlobal actually on YouTube on what are log events and navigating log events and topic hashes. If you do a search, you can find a really good explanation. For the first bounty, can any of the other sponsors tag be used? Yes, of course. So that's the beauty of APIs, right? You don't have to use just one source to build your site. Your website probably constitutes multiple sources of data, multiple stacks or whatever that you want to use, where our API is just one, could be just one powering one function or one feature of your site. With that said, we do like to see both meaningful and perhaps more complex uses of the API that will give you a better chance at winning, especially if the prizes are top 3 prizes instead of prize pool. And yes, as well as novel use cases, right? everything is about the idea. It comes from the idea. And then if you find a really good idea, and if your use of the API is simple, but you have a really good idea, you also stand a very good chance of winning. Is it possible to get NFT ownership history? Yes, you do. I think within the NFT market cap global view, the response data, I think
the metadata is the best endpoint for it.
Is it a metadata one? I think.
Yeah. And then you can filter that by specific ID, or you can also get transactions by contract and see like the ownership transfers there too.
Yes.
The idea of the first bounty.
Yes, to eventually merge into this repo. So if the feature that you develop is in a working state and beautiful, we definitely will want to implement this into the repo itself, and we will credit you. You can also just build upon it and see where it gets you. And of course, if you're not comfortable with us using it, just let us know. And yeah.
It's 1:35, which I just realized. So for everybody that only had 30 minutes, thank you for coming to the workshop. And for everyone that wants to stick around and keep asking questions, I think Leibing and I probably have a couple more minutes so we can stay if there's more questions too. But just so you don't all have to stick around necessarily. Thanks for joining.
Thank you guys, and happy hacking.
Thank you to both of you. That was an excellent workshop. Really, really excited to see what the hackers do with Covalent Tech throughout the course of the event. As they mentioned, Discord would be a great place to talk and continue the conversation. I highly recommend doing it. I know I say that for every workshop, but I mean it. They're also awesome people, as you can see from here. So go have fun with that and let us know if you have any problems. Reach out in the Discord with any questions. We will be probably closing the session right here. I think it'll probably be easier for everyone. And we'll be closing the stream. Thank you to everyone who joined today. And make sure to connect in Discord one more time. And thank you, Lei and Lei.
Thank you.